My fiancé made me wait alone at an upscale steakhouse for 3 hours on our engagement anniversary. When he finally showed up with his entire gaming group, he announced loudly enough for surrounding tables to hear, "See guys, told you she'd still be sitting here. That's dedication." They all laughed while I sat there in my new dress, having just spent the last 6 months helping him launch his revolutionary app idea. This morning, my phone shows 93 missed calls. His belongings are currently being donated to 3 different charities across the city. Let me back up. Tyler and I met 4 years ago at a coffee shop where I was working part-time while finishing my marketing degree. He came in every morning, ordered the same thing, large Americano, no room, and always left exactly $2 as a tip. One day, he stayed longer than usual. His laptop opened to what looked like coding work, and we started chatting about his app ideas. He had dozens of them, each one supposedly the next big thing. Looking back, I should have noticed how none of those ideas ever went anywhere. But at the time, I thought his enthusiasm was charming. He seemed so passionate, so driven, so different from the business majors I'd dated who only cared about their future salaries at consulting firms. We moved in together after a year. Too fast? Probably. But his roommate situation was apparently toxic, his words, and it made financial sense since my lease was ending anyway. Plus, I'd just landed a decent marketing coordinator job and could afford a nicer place with 2 incomes. Except Tyler's income was inconsistent. He worked as a freelance web developer, but had trouble maintaining clients. There was always some reason why projects fell through. The client didn't understand his vision. They wanted to micromanage. They refused to pay his rates. He'd get passionate about these conflicts, sending me long text messages during my workday about how some CEO was an incompetent fool who couldn't recognize talent if it slapped him in the face. I'd screenshot some of these rants, not really knowing why. Maybe I thought they were funny at the time. Maybe some part of me knew I'd need proof of something eventually. By year 2, I was covering most of our expenses. My job wasn't amazing, but it was stable with decent benefits and regular raises. Tyler kept promising his big break was coming. He just needed to finish his app, the one that would change everything. He'd stay up until 3 a.m. coding, sleep until noon, then spend afternoons on Discord with his gaming friends complaining about the tech industry. His parents tried to help financially, but Tyler would get defensive whenever they offered advice. Once, after they suggested he take a regular developer job for steady income, he went on this massive tirade about how they never believed in him, how they were small-minded people who settled for mediocrity, how their generation didn't understand entrepreneurship. I remember feeling uncomfortable listening to him talk about them that way, but I didn't say anything. Last year, Tyler proposed. Nothing fancy. He did it at home while we were watching TV during a commercial break. The ring was simple, which was fine. I'm not materialistic. But when I suggested we start saving for a wedding, he said we should wait until his app launched. The app was always the answer to everything. 6 months ago, Tyler finally had a breakthrough with his app idea. Something about connecting freelancers with clients using artificial intelligence to match skill sets. He needed money to properly develop it, maybe $15,000 to hire help, get proper hosting, file for patents. His parents said no. They'd already lent him money before that was never repaid, so I offered to help. I had some savings, plus I'd just gotten a small inheritance from my grandmother. Looking back, I can't believe I did this. But Tyler was so excited, so convinced this was IT, and I wanted to be supportive. Isn't that what partners do? I told myself we were investing in our future together. I gave him $12,000 over 3 months. He hired 2 other developers he knew from online forums, rented office space at a co-working place, bought fancy equipment. I watched my savings account drain while he spent late nights networking and grinding. Last week, I made the final payment, $3,000 for what Tyler called critical infrastructure upgrades. I was tapped out. My emergency fund was gone, but the app was supposedly almost ready to launch, and Tyler promised everything would pay off soon. Yesterday was our engagement anniversary, 2 years since that commercial break proposal. I'd made reservations weeks ago at this beautiful steakhouse downtown that we'd always talked about trying but never could afford. Translation: I could never afford to treat us both while covering all our other expenses. I spent hours getting ready. New dress from a boutique sale, hairstyled, makeup perfect. I arrived at 6:30 p.m. for our 7 allied reservation, excited to celebrate and maybe talk about actual wedding plans now that the app was nearly done. By 7:15, Tyler still hadn't shown up. He'd texted that he was running late, just order appetizers, so I did. The server kept refilling my water with this sympathetic look that made me want to disappear. I texted 3 times. No response. Called twice. Straight to voicemail. At 8 a.m., I was seriously considering leaving. Other couples were enjoying their meals, celebrating anniversaries and birthdays, while I sat alone scrolling through my phone pretending to be busy. The pity looks from the staff were unbearable. At 8:30, I decided to give him until 9 wow. Maybe there was traffic. Maybe his phone died. Maybe there was an emergency. My mind was making excuses even as my gut knew something was wrong. At 9 wire, I asked for the check for my appetizers and wine. The server looked relieved for me. I was gathering my purse when Tyler finally walked in, with 6 guys from his gaming Discord. Not late, not apologetic. Laughing, they all crowded around my table, and Tyler announced to his friends, "See? 3 hours and she didn't leave." That's what what I'm talking about. His friend Marcus, who I'd met maybe twice, said something about me being trained well, and everyone laughed. Tyler sat down, didn't apologize, didn't explain, just squeezed my shoulder and said, "This is why you're perfect. Most girls would have caused a scene and left, but you get it. You're chill." I couldn't speak. Literally could not form words. "Oh, we're not actually staying for dinner," Tyler continued, pulling out his phone. "The guys have a tournament stream in an hour. I just wanted to prove a point about how patient you are. It's like a superpower or something." One of his friends, I don't even remember which one, said something about how lucky Tyler was to have a girl who bankrolls his dreams and doesn't complain. Tyler laughed and said, "Right? 12,000 and not a single guilt trip. She's an investor in our future." Our future. While he made bets with his friends about how long I'd wait alone at a restaurant, the server came over, clearly uncomfortable. Tyler ordered waters for everyone and made a joke about how I was probably too full from appetizers anyway. How I should watch it if I wanted to fit into a wedding dress? His friends laughed. The nearby tables had gone quiet, people pretending not to listen while obviously listening. I stood up, smiled, said I needed to use the restroom. Tyler barely acknowledged me, already showing his friends something on his phone. In the bathroom, I stared at myself in the mirror, my carefully done makeup, the dress I'd bought special. 4 years of supporting someone who just admitted he'd made a bet about my patience with his internet friends. I opened my banking app and looked at my account balance, nearly empty. Then I opened my photos and scrolled through all those screenshots I'd saved over the years. Tyler's rants about clients being idiots, his messages about his parents being unsupportive, his texts to me complaining about everyone in his life who didn't understand him. I called my friend Sarah and asked if she could pick me up. Then I went back to the table, grabbed my purse, and told Tyler I had a work emergency. He actually looked annoyed, like I was interrupting his guy time. On my way out, I stopped by the server and quietly paid for my appetizers and drinks only. I told her the gentleman would handle the rest of the table's order. She gave me a knowing look and wished me a good evening. Sarah picked me up 3 blocks away. I got in her car and finally let myself cry. But I wasn't just crying. I was planning. See, over the years of helping Tyler with his tech issues, I had access to quite a lot. His email, from when I helped him set up professional accounts for his app business. His cloud storage, where he kept all his project files. His social media accounts because he could never remember passwords. Even his banking app, from when I was making those investment payments. I went to Sarah's apartment and started going through everything systematically. First, I checked his email. What I found made me physically sick. There were messages going back months to the investors he'd supposedly been pitching, except he hadn't been pitching anything. The office space? He'd lost it after 1 month for non-payment and had been working from coffee shops. The 2 developers he hired? They quit after he didn't pay them and couldn't provide clear project direction. The critical infrastructure upgrades I'd just paid for? According to his bank transactions, that money went to new gaming equipment and online purchases. My $12,000 hadn't gone into app development. It had funded his lifestyle while he lied to me about progress, about meetings, about everything, but it got worse. I found messages between Tyler and his Discord friends planning the restaurant thing. They'd been discussing it for over a week. The bet was real. Marcus had wagered $20 I'd wait at least 2 hours. Tyler bet I'd stay even longer. They were laughing about it, sharing memes about devoted girlfriends, making jokes about how easy I was to manipulate. There were messages about me from months ago. Tyler calling me his safety net and his backup plan, discussing how he kept me happy with just enough attention while he figured out his next move. One message from 2 months ago said, "She paid another $3,000 today. This is too easy. She literally believes everything I tell her." I sat on Sarah's couch until midnight, reading through years of lies. Then I made a plan. First, I contacted the clients Tyler had complained about in all those screenshots I'd saved, the ones he'd called incompetent and worse in his messages to me. I created a simple email explaining that I had information they might want to see regarding their former developer, and would they like me to forward relevant messages? 3 responded yes within an hour. I sent them screenshots of Tyler calling them idiots, mocking their business ideas, bragging about overcharging them, professional messages that showed exactly who they'd hired. Second, I forwarded Tyler's messages about his parents to his mom's email, the ones where he called them unsupportive and small-minded, where he mocked their careers and lives. I included a simple note. "I thought you should know how Tyler really talks about you. I'm sorry." Third, I documented everything about the $12,000. Every text where Tyler promised it was for the app. Every lie about progress. Every bank transaction showing where the money actually went. I saved it all to a secure folder. Fourth, I changed every password to every account I paid for. Streaming services, shared subscriptions, everything. I removed my payment information from his accounts. Then I went home at 2 a.m. and started packing his stuff. 4 years of relationship fit into 11 boxes. I worked until dawn, systematically removing every trace of him from my apartment. By morning, I was exhausted but clear-headed. I'd cried myself out. Now, I was just done. Tyler had called 47 times overnight, left 23 voicemails that progressed from confused to angry to apologetic to threatening. I didn't listen to most of them. At 8 a.m., I got a call from an unknown number. It was Tyler's mom. She was crying. She'd received my email and wanted to thank thank me for opening her eyes. She'd suspected Tyler was taking advantage of me but didn't know how bad it was. She apologized for raising someone who could treat another person this way. By noon, Tyler showed up at my apartment. I'd changed the locks that morning. My landlord was surprisingly understanding when I explained I needed them changed for safety reasons. Tyler pounded on the door, yelling about how I'd ruined his life, destroyed his relationships, stolen from him. I didn't open the door. I just texted, "Your belongings are being donated. You have until 5 p.m. to pick them up from the charity drop-off locations I'm about to send you. After that, I'm blocking your number." He showed up at the first location, a women's shelter that accepts men's clothing donations. Watching from my car across the street, I saw him load boxes into Marcus's truck, looking absolutely defeated. The calls and messages continued for days. Tyler alternated between begging for another chance and threatening legal action. His friends started messaging me too, calling me vindictive and crazy. But Damon, one of the guys from that restaurant night, reached out privately to apologize. He said he'd been uncomfortable the whole time but went along with group pressure. He'd had no idea about the financial situation or the lying. Tyler's mom kept in touch. She told me Tyler moved back home briefly, but they kicked him out after he refused to follow basic house rules or look for legitimate work. Last she heard, he was couch surfing and still trying to convince people to invest in app ideas. The clients I'd contacted, 2 of them thanked me profusely. One had been considering hiring Tyler again. Another had friends in the industry and made sure to spread the word about his unprofessional behavior. It's been 4 months now. I'm in therapy, working through trust issues and understanding why I accepted so little for so long. My savings account is slowly rebuilding. I picked up some freelance marketing work and got a small raise at my actual job. I'm planning that solo trip to Portland. I've never traveled alone before, and that feels significant somehow. Choosing something just for me, Tyler tried to connect on social media through new accounts 3 times. Each time I blocked him immediately. His mom sends me updates occasionally, not because I ask, but because I think she needs someone to talk to about her disappointment and how her son turned out. Last week, she told me Tyler has a new girlfriend who's apparently supporting him while he works on another app idea. I felt sad for about 5 minutes, then remembered, not my circus, not my monkeys anymore. Some people have asked if I feel guilty about sending those messages to his clients and parents. The honest answer? No. I didn't lie about anything. I didn't fabricate evidence. I simply showed people who Tyler really was, using his own words. I calculated that I spent approximately $28,000 on Tyler over 4 years, between the app investment, covering rent gaps, paying for dates and trips, and various loans that were never repaid. That's a down payment on a home. That's a car. That's a year of travel. Instead, I funded the lifestyle of someone who made bets with his friends about how long I'd wait alone in a restaurant. The engagement ring is in my jewelry box. I can't bring myself to throw it away yet, but I don't wear it. Maybe someday I'll sell it, or maybe I'll keep it as a reminder of what I won't accept ever again. If you take anything from my story, let it be this. When someone shows you who they are through their actions, believe them. And if someone makes you wait 3 hours at a restaurant to win a bet with their gaming friends, take your $12,000 worth of lessons and walk away. My apartment is smaller now, quieter, completely mine. I adopted a cat who hates visitors but loves me. I'm learning to cook properly instead of ordering takeout. I'm reading books that Tyler would have called boring, and I've never once regretted walking out of that restaurant. Some chapters end not because we wanted them to, but because we finally realized we deserved better than being someone's punchline.